everybody, what's going on? Jesse Montano here, Guerilla Sports. Look, the Avs are done. We're into the offseason for Colorado, but there is so much going on around the league. It seems like every day, every night right now. I wanted to make sure that I had a space to talk about all of it because you guys haven't heard from me enough. So we're starting a new segment here that I originally wanted to call Hockey Topics That I'm Interested In, so you all have to listen to me talk about them. But people around the office said that probably wasn't the best name, so we're just gonna go with Trending Topics in the NHL this week. Starting with the big news out of Anaheim this morning, the Anaheim Ducks have officially named Joel Quenneville their new head coach. Joel Quenneville last worked behind an NHL bench 4 years ago. At the time, it was for the Florida Panthers, but he was relieved of his duties due to his involvement in the 2010 sexual abuse cover-up scandal with the Chicago Blackhawks. Look, there's going to be a lot of controversy around this hire and how it ties back to that 2010 incident and what exactly was Quenneville's involvement. The Ducks put out a statement this morning saying, quote, "We spoke with dozens of individuals, including advocates for positive change in hockey and leadership of the NHL, which last July did officially clear Joel Quenneville to seek employment in the league." And a statement goes on to say, quote, "It is clear Joel deeply regrets not following up with more questions at the time and has demonstrated meaningful personal growth and accountability and has earned the opportunity to return to coaching." Joel Quenneville had a statement that said, quote, "I have learned from my prior mistakes and realized it will be actions over words that demonstrate my commitment to being a better leader." Now, one more statement that also came out today is from the attorney of the John Doe on that 2010 sexual abuse litigation, saying, quote, "We are deeply troubled to hear about the hiring of Coach Q by another NHL team this week, despite his complicity in the Blackhawks clubhouse regarding sexual abuse of a player and now active litigation." The statement goes on to say, quote, "We hope and expect his new team will hold him and the entire management team to the highest standard of conduct and not sacrifice player well-being for winning." I think everybody can agree with that last statement. We'll continue to stay on top of this as the story develops here into the summer, but Joel Quenneville back in the NHL. Moving on, Mikko Rantanen. I know there's a lot of Avs fans out there who probably don't want to hear about this one after he scored a third period hat trick in Game 7 to eliminate the Colorado Avalanche and factored in on the last 8 Dallas Stars goals in the series between Game 6 and 7. Well, it has rolled on here. 3 more goals for Mikko Rantanen last night, a second period hat trick, pushing his total to 11 in terms of 11 goals that he has factored in on consecutively for the Dallas Stars. He just continues to break records. And I know what everyone out there is thinking, especially if you're an Avalanche fan. You're kidding me, right? Watching that game last night was pretty remarkable, but here's a couple things to keep in mind. One, he is shooting at 27.6%, which is just on a different planet. Hard to believe that he stays going in that range, but hey, I've been wrong before. He has also already broken what was previously his career high for most goals in a single postseason. He did it twice with 7, once back in 2023 and then once back in 2020. Well, he currently sits at 8 goals right now. He leads the NHL playoffs. Look, I know this is probably a bit of a nightmare for Avalanche fans and probably even the front office watching Mikko Rantanen become the first player in NHL history to have back-to-back single-period hat tricks. But look, while Mikko may continue to play well and he may lead the Stars on a deep run, it is hard to imagine that he's going to continue getting hat tricks every night. But hey, like I said, I've been wrong before. It's been pretty remarkable to watch so far. Let's move on here, talking about the Utah Mammoth, no longer the Utah Hockey Club. They have officially named themselves. They are going with the Utah Mammoth. And look, yes, there is a professional indoor lacrosse team right next door to them in Colorado called the Colorado Mammoth. But look, teams have overlapping nicknames all the time. To me, that's not really an issue. I don't have any issues with what they did for their branding, but it has left me wanting a little bit more I'll be honest, you took the extra time and the extra care to make sure that you got everything just right. And when the final product came out, I don't know, I was just a little bit let down, left wanting, disappointed. Pick your descriptors there, but the logo to me looks a little bit amateur, something that you'd maybe see in like a stock create a team on EA Sports, something like that. The colors, there's just something a little bit missing about the powder blue and black. Maybe you could have incorporated some navy instead of the black, and that would have helped it pop a little bit more. And then the road uniform, they actually aren't changing from the inaugural season, which they said they kind of just put out there as, hey, we don't want to rush anything, so we're going to get some decent looking jerseys for the interim. They're keeping that look for the white jerseys. And so I don't know. I think a lot about what the Washington Commanders and the NFL did a few years ago, where they went through this same thing, saying, no, we're going to wait and get it right. And then ultimately came out with something that was underwhelming. I feel that Utah has done this here as well. But hey, one fun little trivia tidbit, they have become the 11th of the major 4 North American leagues, the 11th team whose nickname does not end in an S. So hold on to that for your next trivia night. Moving out east, Anthony Stolarz and the Toronto Maple Leafs. How about this start to the second round for the Maple Leafs, up 2-0 on the Florida Panthers? And it's not just saying that this year feels different for the Leafs. They look different. And Brad Marchand even agrees with that.
Brad, do you see a different challenge from the Leafs than you faced in the past in these playoffs?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're continuing to get better and grow as a group. They brought a lot of good pieces in at the deadline in the off season to kind of address their back end. They're heavy back there, and obviously their coaching has changed, and their structure is very, very good right now, especially in the D zone. They don't give up a whole lot around the net. So, yeah, they're we knew it was going to be a really tough battle. We didn't expect to roll over them by any means. So, we have our work cut out. They're playing really well, and obviously their top guys are capitalizing on every opportunity, it seems like.
Anthony Stolarz, their starting goaltender, of course, was knocked out in Game 1 after a weird collision with Sam Bennett of the Florida Panthers. There were many who were calling for supplemental discipline, the league to take a look at Sam Bennett's hit. To me, it looked like an unfortunate collision. Stolarz battling for a puck, Sam Bennett trying to get to the front. Looked like just a weird play. The part where it got scary, Anthony Stolarz was eventually taken to the hospital, but after staying in the game for a couple minutes, cameras did catch him leaning over the bench, throwing up into a trash can just minutes after this collision. When you're talking head injuries and then vomiting, that is scary stuff. Right now, the Maple Leafs are saying they are not expecting him to travel for games 3 and 4 down in Florida, but we will keep an eye on this. Joseph Woll in net, and he won Game 2. Maple Leafs might be looking like they're going on a run here, and I won't lie, I think it'd be kind of fun to see. All right, we're going to wrap up this week's trending topics with what we saw from the NHL's draft lottery this week. They listened to what fans, media, critics have said for years of, hey, if you don't want us to say that your lottery is rigged, show it to us. Lay it out so that we can see what it is you guys are doing back there. And that's exactly what the league did. Credit to them, good on them for being transparent. And also credit to them for creating another event that people tuned in for. You guys have heard me talk about it at length about how the NFL, everything's an event. Everything's something you have to watch on TV. And they do a great job of that. And the NHL, whose product I think is significantly better, that's just me personally, they don't do anywhere near enough of making people have to watch their product. I cannot miss this. They did that this week. People tuned in for the lottery. Good on them. My only real critique, the system they use right now is clunky. It's 4 numbers, and every team is assigned a random set of 4 numbers. And, if your combination is pulled, see, look, I'm already getting confused just explaining it to you. We've all heard the suggestion, and I think it's the best one. If you're going to say that in this year's case, the San Jose Sharks have a 25% chance of winning the lottery, to me, take 100 ping pong balls, drop them into a bucket, and 25 of them should have the San Jose Sharks logo on them. And then you pull one lottery ball, and that is who wins your lottery. You can do it on TV. It's going to be something that people tune into. It's going to be something that people can follow, pay attention to, know what's happening, lead to the drama of all of it. And I think that's the way that you should do it. But credit to the NHL. They took the first step towards transparency and what everybody's ultimately been asking for. That's it. Those are my trending topics for this week. We'll keep this going here throughout the summer. If there's something that you guys want to hear me talk about, hear us talk about, or something that I missed that you thought I should have brought up, let us know down in the comments and we'll get to it. But that's going to do it. The NHL still a buzz as we get deeper and deeper into the postseason.